into a rickety boat in the hands of criminal trafficking networks, that guarantees that Europe is able to live up to its historic and proud legacy. We will leave Europe a better place if we are able to harness the opportunities that the digital age allows, that artificial intelligence offers. We have to keep ahead of the curve and be in a position to reap the benefits and mitigate the consequences of disinformation. We have all the knowledge of the world at our fingertips, and yet people feel more lonely than ever before. It shows how much Europe must also mean community. We cannot leave Europe a better place if people are still unable to be who they wish to be and love who they wish to love anywhere in Europe. If we do not remove all the barriers that prevent people with disabilities in our union from having the same chances in life as everyone else, if we are unable to fight discrimination or stem rising anti-Semitism or Islamophobia, if hate and violence continue to be a driving force of too much of our political discourse, we must deliver a Europe where everyone feels at home, where girls like Coco from Ireland are protected from their tormentors. We cannot leave Europe a better place if too many women are still unable to feel part of it. Too many women are still abused, still beaten, still murdered in our Europe. Too many women are still fighting for rights. Too many women still earn less than men for the same job. Too many women still feel afraid, and this must become their Europe too. We can build the Europe that Simone Veil and Nicole Fontaine dreamt of. The Europe that Marie Skłodowska-Curie was unable to fully harness. The Europe that Julia, Pellin, Anna Vanessa, Daphne and so many other women will never be able to see. We will do it for them, for all those unable to speak, and for all those who come after. I know that together we will leave Europe better than we found it. I know that when the world looks to this Parliament, they will see a house that defends rights, that protects journalists, that values freedom, that understands its role in the world as a beacon of democracy across the globe. La tendenza all'essere uniti è una delle costanti della storia, disse Alcide De Gasperi 70.
This is the legacy of De Gasperi from 70 years ago. We will write, we will continue to speak of Europe in the terms in which he spoke of it, and we will not relinquish the hope and the belief that Europe will be ever relevant. These are words spoken by him, which we must keep in the forefront of our minds throughout this legislature.
Take democracy for granted. We have seen that our European values are regarded by too many as a threat. It is a badge given to us by autocrats that we will continue to wear proudly. The Russian war of aggression against sovereign Ukraine remains at the top of our agenda. I went to Kiev in your name at the outbreak of the war. It was a visit that gave new impetus to our House, new visibility and influence. This House helped put the political spotlight on the need to stand with Ukraine, and that light is one that people rely on us to keep shining as brightly as it can be. We will be called upon to do more, and we must be ready to go beyond what is comfortable and do what is necessary. We do this because Europe must stand for freedom, for peace, a real peace with justice, with dignity, and with liberty. Because in Europe we understand how to heal seemingly impossible divides. That must also be the guiding philosophy of our reaction to the conflicts in the Middle East, where even in the fog of war, ours must continue to be the voice of humanity, pushing for an end to the intergenerational cycle of violence, for a two-state solution, a sustainable peace, and the return of those hostages still taken. It is that role that guides us as we mark 50 sad years of an artificially divided Cyprus. We must be the generation that is able to. We must finally plug the gap that is so dark in Europe's history with a viable solution in line with Security Council resolutions and our European values. It is that defence of our common humanity that means that we are the ones to stand with women horrifically under threat in Afghanistan, with those girls and students on the streets of Iran, with Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, those unjustly jailed, and the movement for a free and democratic Belarus, with the brave Yazidi girls still fighting, with Yulia Navalnaya, who stands tall, with all those around the world who keep defying the tear gas running down on them as they fly our European flag high. This is what Europe means across the globe. This is the Parliament that the world sees, the Parliament we are all so proud to serve. This is the parliamentary diplomacy that will be essential as we defend multilateralism and prepare for enlargement of our European Union. As people look to us in Ukraine, in Moldova, in Georgia, for all those in the Western Balkans who have been denied progress for far too long, we must be ready to extend Europe's hand as they each follow their own paths in a merit-based approach that respects the necessary criteria. We must be ready to face this new world and this new reality, and together we will be ready. So, colleagues, to renew our commitment to Europe, we must, in the words of that great European saint from Krakow, Karol Wojtyła, be not afraid. Not afraid to face down autocrats, not afraid to live up to our promise, not afraid to stand up for Europe, not afraid to keep building a union that works for all of us. In 2016, Jonathan Sachs wrote that a politics of hope is within reach, but to create it, we will find and have to find ways of strengthening families and communities, building a culture of collective responsibility, and insisting on an economics of the common good. This is no longer a matter of party politics. It is about the very viability of the freedom which was fought so hard and so long for. We need to construct a compelling narrative of hope that speaks to all of us, not some of us. And the time to begin is now. Friends, we can regain the narrative of this great union of ours. We can inspire new generations of Europeans, because Europe is hope. Europe is belief. Europe is all of us. Europe remains the answer. Vive l'Europe. Okay, so we get to work. We talk about the establishment of political groups. The following political groups have been formed. Group of the European People's Party, 188 members. Group of the Progressive Alliance of Socialists and Democrats in the European Parliament, 136 members. Group Patriots for Europe, 84 members. European Conservatives and Reformists Group, 78 members. Renew Europe Group, 77 members. The Greens European Free Alliance Group, 53 members. The Left Group in the European Parliament, 46 members. Europe of Sovereign Nations, 25 members. There are also 32 non-attached members. The statements concerning the establishment of political groups referred to in Rule 33, paragraph 5, will be annexed to the minutes of this part session. I move now to the deadline for Vice President nominations. For the election of the Vice President of the European Parliament, I propose setting the deadline for candidacies today at 13:30, 1:30. Candidacies should be lodged with the Deputy Secretary General in Office R00.101, in other words, the Presidency Open Plan of Vice Building. The sitting is now suspended and it will resume at 3 o'clock, 1500 hours.